Into Tomorrow continues from Autodesk University in Las Vegas this week. We're delighted that you've tuned into Tomorrow. Remember, the Ask Dave hotline is open for you 24/7. Anytime you have questions or comments about anything you hear on the show or any consumer electronics issues, 1-800-899-INTO, 800-899-4686. Maybe you want to learn more about some of the things you hear on today's show. Either way, we want to hear from you. The Digital Stone exhibition in China demonstrates the intersection of art and technology as an example of people using the latest technology to experiment with new forms like stone sculptures that they're showing. Very cool stuff that we're seeing here at Autodesk University. The Director of Education and Worldwide Marketing for Autodesk is Alissa Perlstein. Alissa Perlstein, I'll get it right. How are you, Alissa? Welcome into Tomorrow.
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. You're doing some pretty unique things. Tell me about this exhibit. It sounds like a lot of fun, too.
It's a lot of fun. It's a very different project for Autodesk. So the Digital Stone exhibition is an art exhibit that we are underwriting, and it's taking place in China. And essentially what we've done is we've partnered with 4 American artists, Bruce Beasley, Kenneth Snelson, John Isherwood, and Robert Michael Smith. And each of these artists are very well known for their use of technology in the creative process. And we've partnered with them in creating and concepting this exhibition. And essentially the exhibition shows off not only these finished sculptures or beautiful large-scale granite pieces, but also the technology and the creative process to get there. So how they use the technology to get to the finished pieces.
It's certainly a different thing, I think, for a lot of artists to use technology to create, in this case, a sculpture.
Right.
I'm wondering if there was some initial, like, you want me to do what? To do my work, to create my artwork? Or was it more like, now that's cool, let me try this?
You know, all of these artists were using technology long before they started talking to Autodesk. Some Autodesk technology, some others. Now they're all using our software. But essentially they see it as a tool, and early on these were artists that decided this tool is actually going to help me create some more interesting shapes and concepts than maybe I could with a pencil or piece of paper.
And is this, in fact, some of the same sort of software that folks associate in architecture in general and designing buildings and that sort of thing?
It's the exact same software, and that's what's so interesting about it, is seeing how artists are using the same software originally developed for architecture or mechanical design and using it in the art world. So they're using Autodesk Inventor and Max and Maya and Alias Studio because they allow them the kind of free form to create these shapes and intersections and try different what-if scenarios and ultimately get to the best possible solution for that art piece, which is exactly what our customers are doing every single day.
Exactly. And I would imagine that more and more artists are going to be looking at these things and saying, I want to try this. I mean, it's got to be a whole different angle to what they do and yet still allow that creativity, maybe even more so.
It is, and it's an emerging field, and artists are very intrigued by it. There's still a little bit of debate as to where the creativity happens when you're using technology, but the idea is that, it's not going to create the work for you. It just helps you visualize your ideas, try different scenarios, and then come up with the best possible design.
Good point, because it isn't the software that's doing it. You're doing it.
That's
it's
right.
just helping you along and maybe making things easier to make some of these changes as you go.
That's right. And if anything, it's actually helping you do it in a way where you're not faced with the limitations of the physical world. So you don't have to work with real materials, and you can work in smaller forms, and it's actually more freeing than working in the physical world.
No doubt it's some of the things that other artists, I think, can learn from these digital stones. Huh?
No question. It's another tool. So you think of, a pencil or a carving tool, and it's no different. It's just how you apply it and where you want to use the technology.
Now, speaking about where you want to use it, why China? How did that all come about?
The exhibition actually was developed from the start for China. So each of the pieces is actually carved by hand in China by craftsmen in southern China. And so we really consider them partners in the development of the exhibition in the first place. But we also felt it would be a really interesting way to speak to Autodesk customers about how they can use technology as they start to become more of a design and an innovation center for China versus a manufacturing center for China.
And that's great because there's certainly a lot of potential anywhere in the world, but China is a great classic example, I think, of how folks can take this sort of technology and do maybe even more things with them, with some more wide open spaces in some cases, and be really creative.
That's right. And it was this great combination of a very compelling and interesting and different way to look at the use of technology, but at the end of the day, we were able to kind of ground it in what our customers are doing every day.
What has you personally most excited about this project?
I think just seeing the reactions on people's faces. They're kind of wondering why a software company is getting involved in an art exhibit, and then when they start to see the pieces come together, it just clicks, and they say, my gosh, I just get it. I understand. And what you're helping these artists do is what you're helping your customers do.
That's kind of cool. You think we'll see some of these things in the Autodesk gallery, for that matter?
You can come and see them in the Autodesk gallery right now. In fact, we've got 2 smaller scale pieces because they're large and heavy. So we've got some half-size pieces from Robert Michael Smith and Bruce Beasley in the exhibit, as well as some of the rapid prototypes and the models that they used to come up with the final designs.
Dynamite. And of course, Alissa and her staff have a site on the Autodesk website.
We do.
Where you can learn even more. I'm guessing autodesk.com/digitalstone.
That's exactly right.
Well, that's where we're going to invite folks to visit. And of course, we'll have links to not only what she's doing and her team working on, but everything that we're talking about at Autodesk University. Thanks so much for joining us on the program. Fascinating stuff, and continue good luck with it.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Our pleasure. Again, autodesk.com/digitalstone for more information. Swing by intotomorrow.com or graveline.com. We'll link you there too. You're one mouse click away. Back with more from Las Vegas. I'm Dave Graveline. This is Into Tomorrow on the Advanced Media Network.